they've done this, or there have been so many active shooters events that they've actually been able to.
What is the importance of ALICE training?
The idea of the ALICE training, which it stands for, it's an acronym for alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and then evacuate. So unfortunately, we have to be prepared in terms of safety for our building and for the staff and students. So the idea of the training was to have the Wauseon Police Department here and walk through some of the steps. The training itself kind of focused on the last two, the counter and evacuate. But it gave us the opportunity to get some of the students and staff members kind of in a classroom situation and how they would react to that. So that was the main focus of the training.
What is one thing that you hope the students got out of the training day?
I think one of the biggest things that we wanted to take away as we worked on this training with the Wauseon Police Department is for everybody, not just the ones that were able to take part in it, but was just to bring an awareness of some of the situations that they might find themselves in, and how individually people are going to react differently. And you can think that something's going to go a certain way, and this is exactly what you would do. But every situation is a little different, and maybe it brought an awareness of thinking about how you might react individually, and what some of the basic standard procedures and protocols that we want to have people react to.
Out of all the things that we learned that day, what do you find to be the most important?
When we look at the ALICE training, and the Wauseon Police Department kind of reiterated this many times, is the ultimate goal is to get away from the potential danger and to evacuate. And again, that's going to look different depending on the situation, but for students to be aware of their setting, where they're at, and ultimately how they're going to evacuate the situation.
And is there anything else that you find important that we have not asked about that you want to highlight?
I think one of the things that I highlighted with each group is, although we're here at Wauseon High School and we're talking about being in a classroom or being somewhere in this building, I think that the skills that we were talking about, or some of the situations that we were talking about, you're going to find yourself in those types of situations in all kinds of different venues, and whether you're at the mall or you're in a movie theater, some of the things that we talked about can be applied to those situations. So yeah, we're here at Wauseon High School. We're talking about the safety in the school building, but there are things that you got to be able to recognize no matter where you're at.
So the importance is to make sure that every student is aware and knows what to do in the event of an active shooter or an intruder in a building. The more practice you get, the better we are. Build that muscle memory.
What's the most important thing when it comes to ALICE training?
Most important thing, kind of like we talked about in the training, was make sure we get out of the building, get away from that threat. We'll leave it at that for now.
What is one thing you hope the students got out of their training day?
So the one thing, it kind of goes back to the other one, making sure we get out of that building. That is our number one priority. In the training, we had a lot of students in every level we did, all the way from the kindergarten all the way up. Different levels that we do. Everybody paid attention to really that counter aspect of the training, and that's really not what we want to have you focus on. That's just one of those last ditch efforts to make sure that to get out, you got to do what you got to do at that point.
And then is there anything else you find important that we have not asked about that you want to highlight?
Really, just what the training went through. There's not a lot more we can add at this point. It's that muscle memory, creating that muscle memory, being able to make sure that we continue to get these practice times in, and going through everything that's involved with the training. That's in a real incident. You have those three responses: the freeze, the run, or the fight. You may know what you may be in at that time, but when a real incident's happening, you're really going to find out which one of those three you are, and at that point you hope to have that muscle memory in you that you can actually act on what you've learned and practiced.